Thank you, David Trolley, and good morning, everybody. I'm Reverend Rich Carlini, and this is the Unity Center of Davis virtual Sunday morning service. We welcome you this morning in the name and through the nature of that living Christ presence that lives and dwells in the heart of each and every one of us, and in the warm and loving spirit that's come to be known as the Unity Movement. Well, it's a nice fall day here. Well, everywhere, I guess. Watch out for the winds, and let's start out by singing a good congregational song this morning. I start my day.
I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of, is love. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of, is love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. Ooh, peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. Oh, joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release.
That's what John Duffy says every morning. I start my day with joy. What a lucky guy. So, will you pray with me now, please? Take a deep breath in and exhale and just settle in for a moment here. And we start our day with peace. I start today with peace. Peace. Peace, be still and know. Peace, be still and know that I am God. Peace, be still and know that I am God and that there is not one spot where I am not. Not one spot where I am not. And so, in that knowing, we wrap each and every person in our family in peace. We wrap each of our neighbors in peace. Everyone in the Sacramento and Davis community, we wrap in peace. That sweet release, and we release that sweet peace out into the world, out into the neighborhood, out into each and every leader of each and every country. We wrap all persons suffering from the COVID virus in peace. We wrap each one of those persons that have yet to get the COVID virus, that don't even know that they've been exposed to it yet. We wrap them in peace. And we wrap each person that is not honoring the face mask rule, we wrap them in peace. And we see them releasing peace and not COVID. When I start my day in peace, I know. Thank you, God, for peace. Thank you, God, for your activity in and through my life. Thank you, God, for being everywhere, for us knowing that there is not one spot where God is not. And so it is. Amen.
Again, welcome, everyone. And now we welcome our prayer chaplain this morning, Don Morrill. Don, I turn things over to you if you would unmute your mic now. Thanks, Don.
Oh, thank you, and good morning, everybody. It's great to be your chaplain today. I'm so pleased to be available. What I would do after the service would be to call you with a prayer of gratitude, celebration, or concern. And to do that, you'd need to go down to the chat and click on private chat with Reverend Rich and leave your phone number. And I would be blessed and grateful to be back in touch with you after the service. And so now let's hold for blessing every person that's on your mind and in your heart, and speak their names or say in silence to yourself names of folks that you care about and want prayer for and blessing. Terry, Joe, Kamala, Donald, Teresa, Barbara, Jamie, Amy. And as we say or said names, let's feel gratitude for the power to pray for others and extend our love to them. Grateful that we can hold them in divine light and know that wherever they are, God is. And now let's all join in our unity prayer to bless them all. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. We behold God's love as you. And now let's prepare for meditation.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
Just breathe into that. Just breathe into that. And as you breathe, just say to yourself, I am the face of God. I am the face of God. I am. And you are a part of me. Each of us are the face of God. There is not one spot where God is not. Breathing now, breathing in and out, and focusing on the breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in with I am the face of God, and breathing out with you are a part of me. I am the face of God. I am a part of you. You are the face of God. You are a part of me. For we are all family. Breathing in and out, we accept that. We take that in. We are all family. I am the face of God. I am always there with you. There's not one spot ever that I am not. I am a part of you, and you are a part of me. Holding that in our hearts, holding that in our mind, we move into a time of silence. A time of silence where love is, where peace is, where joy is, where you are, where I am, where God is, in the silence. Breathing in and breathing out, and knowing I am the face of God. I am a part of you. I am always there. You are always there. We're always there for each other. I'm okay, and you're okay. And I'm not okay, and you're not okay. And there's not one spot where God is not. And so knowing that, knowing in the middle of everything and anything, that I am the face of God. We begin to come back to this time and place, to this Sunday virtual service, to everything that's going on in our world, in a sense, with a sense of peace and a clear knowing that we are the face of God. Wiggling our fingers, wiggling our toes, moving our shoulders up and down, breathing in and out, we begin to slowly open our eyes and say, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for this interlude, for this time together, for being in the spot where God is always. And so it is. Amen.
Maybe we can never house the homeless, rid the streets of violence and crime, make the world a safe place for our children, but we can try. Maybe we can never feed the hungry, chase every warplane from the sky, do away with ignorance and hatred, but we can try. Sometimes I feel so helpless, and I can just do my best, 'cause even the longest journey begins with a single step. Maybe we won't always find forgiveness, give our wildest dreams the wings to fly, make the world a safe place for our children, but we can try. Maybe we won't always find forgiveness, give our wildest dreams the wings to fly. Maybe we won't always love our neighbor, but we can try. Oh, we can try. We can try, 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 we can try.
Thank you, David Trolley. Thank you. Isn't he wonderful? Such a pleasure to have such a great musician to work with. Thank you, David. Thank you. Mm. Make the world a safe place for our children. Well, we can try. We can try. Well, many of you may be expecting my talk this morning to be a talk on the Dias de la Muerte celebration, the Mexican celebration of the Day of the Dead. But it's not happening today. I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I was walking around trying to get that talk together. I've done a lot of research. And I'm thinking, I don't feel like celebrating right now. and I really don't want to celebrate the dead. So I think I'm going to skip that topic. I put that down quite a few months ago because I didn't want to do Halloween. And I thought, well, let's talk about that tradition, that culture. And I said, I can't do that. There's too much going on in the world. I have to stop for a minute and tell everybody that we're going to be okay. And I started researching about being okay and looking for a graphic, and I came up with it's okay not to be okay. And I realized it's kind of stupid to sit down and tell you all that you're going to be okay when you're not okay. Most of us aren't okay. I'm not okay. I have to tell you, I'm not okay. I'm tired of this pandemic. And I'm tired of not knowing what's happening the day after the tomorrow. I'm not okay with the fact that I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is grab my phone and go to Flipboard to see if something has happened during the night that I need to know about so that I can decide who I am today. And even though I know that there's not one spot where God is not, I'm still not okay sometimes. And I thought, you know what? It is okay not to be okay right now. It's okay as long as we don't stay there, but it's okay to not be okay. You know, I was walking down, well, first of all, let me say that I was trying to do a Zoom call, which I do a lot of these days, but I packed up and took myself over to Pete's that has a big outside area, and I was going to get on their Wi-Fi and do my Zoom call over there. Well, the Wi-Fi wasn't working, but it was time for the Zoom call. So I took my phone and went out to the car and got on Zoom in the car. And while I'm sitting there, the car overheated. Now, I have to admit to you that what I know about the modern car is less than I know about astrophysics. And I know a little bit about astrophysics, so that tells you. And so I thought, oh, I just got to pump the gas a couple times to cool the carburetor down. Well, and, you know, they don't have a carburetor anymore. But anyway, I started driving and the overheat stopped, but I parked it. And then the next time I got in it, it did overheat and water came down. So I went right to the garage with it. And he said, "Oh, I think it's your start thermostat, but let us look at it." So I said, "All right, I'm going down to get a haircut. I'll leave the car here." Well, I'm walking to downtown Walnut Creek, and it's a boarded up store after a boarded up store. I mean, you can picture Walnut Creek. Most of you have been here. Restaurants are out of business. The restaurants that are in business have seating areas outside. Several streets are closed so that we can have seating areas. Somebody's put in a pitch and putt, not a pitch and putt, a miniature golf course on Locust Street, which is kind of fun. And that's nice. But as I'm approaching my barber, this little guy, he's 5'5". He is just, well, you'd think he was taking Adderall. He just goes 100 miles an hour, and I'm sure he's not taking Adderall, but he's out on the street, and he's on the phone, and he's screaming into the phone. "You're not going to raise my rent, and no, I can't pay you the balance for the rent. I don't have it right now, and no, you can't paint the outside and take down the barber sign. And what are you trying to do to me? I'm having a difficult time surviving, as is." And his wife, who works there, is out saying, don't be doing this on the street. Come on inside the barbershop. And I'm behind him massaging his neck so that he calms down and trying to move him inside. And he's going off on a tangent. And it hit me that, well, when I was talking to him, he's paying for 700 square feet, $5,000 a month. Now, that's a lot of haircuts, especially when you're not open for 4, 5, 6 months, especially when you count on walk-in business, and now you can only do business by appointment. He's not okay. He's not okay. My friend Marianne came over for lunch yesterday. It was so nice. I haven't had anybody here for lunch since I don't remember when. And we had face masks on, but I have a balcony, and we had lunch on the balcony. And Marianne was telling me, and we got to take our face masks off on the balcony, and there was air blowing, and Marianne was saying, "I'm not going to do Facebook anymore. It's divisive." And she looked so sad. And I said, "Marianne, are you sure you don't want to do Facebook anymore? I mean, I know it's divisive and I know it's not okay, but can you be okay with it? Because it's a social network for you. And it's keeping you in touch with people right now." Well, Marianne is a few years older than me. And I mean, she's a very active person, but Facebook is keeping her moving. You know, we talked about it, and she said, "You're right. It is divisive, but I don't have to go there with it. I can stay and socialize with my friends. And I can be okay with that. And it's okay that I'm not okay with it too." And, where did we get the thought that it's not okay to be not okay? It certainly doesn't come from unity. I mean, we could make a case that it's not okay to be not okay in New Thought. But then again, why bother doing that? Because it is okay to not be okay. When we're not okay, when we discern that something is in error, when we discern that error thought is around us, it's okay to not be okay. But what we've learned in unity is that there is one presence and one power in my life and in the universe. And that presence is always there and is always there for us. And that we can pray and we can meditate and we can talk to the universe and we can receive answers back if we just stop and let ourselves. And that, as the song "I Am the Face of God" said, that I behold the Christ in you and you behold the Christ in me, that there is a spark of divinity in each one of us. And that's the truth. And that, yes, thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. And so, yes, it would think that to say it's not okay would be a negative thought, and we shouldn't hold that in mind. And we shouldn't hold it in mind. We shouldn't sit there and ruminate, "I'm not okay, I'm not okay, I'm not okay." I think it's okay to ruminate. It's okay that I'm not okay. Because what we do in unity is pray and meditate, and then we discern actions that we can take. And so we take actions to be okay. And so to be able to discern the fact that we're not okay is very healthy right now. It is very good right now to say, "I don't know what's going on here." To say, it feels like for the next 13 days, or is it 14? It's 12 days till the election is over. It's okay to not be okay, because one way or the other, I mean, this is not a partisan discussion. It is so divided that we need to see which way it's going to go. And that's a hard place to be. I don't think we've ever been there as Americans before. I mean, have you ever seen an election like this before? People lining up for hours to vote weeks before the election to get their vote in. And so, we sit here and we try to stay positive. We try not to ruminate on what's going on, but it's everywhere. And so it gets into our thought process and we have to deal with it. And it makes us not okay for a while. And then as we process it, as we know the truth of our being, as we know that the time that we're here on this planet in the human experience is a speck of time, that in the midst of that, it's okay to not be okay. And together, we can co create the reality that we're looking for. Even no matter what the outcome of the election is, we can co create the reality that we want. We can. And so, even though I'm not okay right now, I do believe that, and that makes me feel better. It doesn't make me feel okay, but it makes me feel better. I was reading an article entitled "The Demands of Motherhood Are Relentless and Self-Care is Impossible, especially right now." Especially right now. Saida Chavez writes this on October 5th. "It's the first time that I'm admitting my feelings to anyone, including myself. I've been doing a really great job at pretending I'm okay. I feel like I have to. Everyone is struggling right now, so what I'm going through isn't anything out of the norm. Saying we're hanging in there, considering, is my new go-to answer to how I'm doing. I say it so often that it's second nature. And most of the time, it's true. We're doing the best we can with what we have. But the more I tell myself I'm okay, the more I realize I'm not. I'm finally realizing it's okay to not be okay, especially right now." You remember that book that came out in the 70s, "I'm Okay, You're Okay"? Well, I mean, that was like, wow, I'm okay, you're okay. A transactional analysis. Of course, it was a way. It's another one of those ways that we can use for communicating with each other to say where we're at in our life, what kind of person we are, and the best way to have compassionate communication with each other. And that book sold over 15 million copies to date, was on the New York Times bestseller list for 2 years. And there were 4 phases in that book. I'm not okay, you're okay, or I'm not okay, you're not okay, or I'm okay, you're not okay, or I'm okay and you're okay. Now, after reading that, I'm not okay anymore because that's confusing. There's too much going on right now for me to stop and process that. And so I think that there's a better way to get good advice. And so I was thinking about how are we going to get good advice? And I came across, and forgive me for a minute, it takes me just a second to get this set up. Let me see here. Okay, I'm sorry. There we go. So I'm sorry, I need to change my screen, I think. Forgive me. Stop share. Okay, let's try this again. All right, I hope you can see my screen okay. Cam Stoffer, tell me. Yes, Don told me. Okay. So I came across this lovely little ditty and I put it on Facebook. "I'm afraid," said Rabbit. "What are you afraid of?" asked Bear. "I don't know," replied Rabbit. "I just am." "Then I will sit with you until you're not afraid anymore," said Bear. "We will face it together." What good advice. And you know what? I want to let each of you know that I'm here, and that if you're afraid, I'll sit with you until you're not anymore. I'm happy to do that. And I bet each of us are happy to sit with each other. So, forgive me, I had to pick something up here. I decided this is good advice. You know what? By the way, I want to tell you, you're not alone if you're not okay, because I posted this on my Healing Power of Grief, my Transform Myself, and the Unity Center of Davis page, along with my own Facebook page. And this will tell you something. It's had over 70 shares. over 70 shares. There are people out there that want to hear this. You're not alone in not being okay. It's okay to not be okay. But I thought, where else are we going to get some good advice? Well, Pooh and Piglet always have the best advice. Piglet, said Pooh. Yes, Pooh, said Piglet. Do you ever have days when everything feels not very okay at all? And sometimes you don't even know why you feel not very okay at all. You just know that you do. Piglet nodded his head sagely. Oh, yes, said Piglet. I definitely have those days. Really? Said Pooh in surprise. I would never have thought that. You always seem so happy and like you have got everything in life all sorted out. That's what y'all probably think about me. He's got it all sorted out. Ha ha ha. Ah, said Piglet. Well, here's the thing. There are two things that you need to know, Pooh. The first thing is that even those pigs and bears and people who seem to have got everything in life all sorted out, they probably haven't. Actually, everyone has days when they feel not very okay at all. Some people are just better at hiding it than others. And the second thing you need to know is that it's okay to feel not very okay at all. It can be quite normal, in fact. And all you need to do on those days when you feel not very okay at all is come and find me and tell me. Don't ever feel like you have to hide the fact you're not feeling not very okay at all. Always come and tell me because I will always be there. So when you're not feeling not okay at all, don't keep it to yourself. You're not alone. Find somebody and tell them. Somebody will always be there. Well, Pooh and Piglet and friends have good advice. And, you know, Eeyore said, Eeyore, that character, if you remember him, he is generally characterized as a pessimistic, gloomy, depressed, anhedonic old gray stuffed donkey who's a friend of the title character, Winnie the Pooh. Now, if you're starting out that way and you're not feeling okay at all, it can be really tough. But even Eeyore says it's okay to not be okay. Just some days are harder than other words. Do you know what anhedonic means? I wouldn't have known unless I went to my doctor and he asked me how I was doing. And I was telling him, this was right after I retired. Well, I'm having a pretty good time. I've been doing things I haven't done in a long time. And he said, oh, that's so good to hear. Most seniors, I see a lot of seniors that are anhedonic. And I said, well, whatever that is. And, you know, hedonism, pleasure. Well, we can, as we grow older, we might not be thinking about pleasure as much as we usually did. Well, I want to tell you, if any of you are seniors out there, don't be anhedonic right now. Have some pleasure because when it gets harder, when days are harder than others, and you're anhedonic and you're not having any pleasure, well, Eeyore says some days are just harder than others. And Pooh says, I don't feel very much like Pooh today, said Pooh. There, said Piglet. I'll bring you tea and honey until you do. Let's bring each other tea and honey when we're not feeling okay. Let's bring tea and honey until we do. Let's take care of each other. Let's tell each other it's okay not to be okay. Oh, and this one I think is great. Sometimes when I say I'm okay, I need someone to look at me in the eyes, hug me tight, and say, I know you're not. Yeah, I know you're not. That's like yesterday with Marianne. I'm okay without Facebook. Well, I know you're not. You use Facebook to socialize. So why don't you keep it? Okay. Oh, here's one you can use. I just hugged you in my thoughts. I hope you felt the squeeze. Everybody, come on, let's hug somebody in our thoughts. Oh, I feel it. I feel the squeeze. And so we're in new thought. We can hold somebody in our thoughts and they can feel the squeeze. They can definitely feel the squeeze. We had chaplain training and I was feeling all kind of hugs and squeezes on that. Don't forget to hug people in your thoughts. And here's some other good advice. It's okay to feel gloomy now and then, but try to look at the bright side of life. And Pooh says, as he tries to get into the honey, be kinder than necessary, for everyone is fighting some kind of battle. Yes, everybody is fighting some kind of battle. So live healthy, laugh lots, even in the midst of a pandemic that's surging, and show love. We can do it. We really can. And so thank you, Pooh and Piglet, for that. And what I want to say is one last thing before we have a little more music. If I could just get back to what I want to say. Oh, and I just closed it. There we go. And, I think we need to know that we should all be allowed to fall apart sometimes. We need to know that we should all be allowed to fall apart sometimes so that we can find ourselves all over again. And this is what is a good time to allow ourselves to fall apart and be okay with not being okay. But don't forget the end of it so that we can find ourselves all over again. You see, because no matter what the situation, no matter what's going on, we can find ourselves all over again. We can feel okay again. I saw a posting online from one of my friends and a co-minister. His name is Reverend Kurt Condra, and he's the minister at Unity of the North Shore in Upper Michigan. And I recently had him on the Healing Hour of Grief radio show, along with a woman, as they both were talking about the grief of having COVID. So Reverend Kurt has had COVID. He wasn't hospitalized, but he's okay now. And he writes this about this time. And he entitled it Brave and Wonderful Foolishness. And Kurt says this: for weeks, my condo has been a home office, warehouse construction zone. I'm so ready for remodeling to be over. You may not be renovating, but I bet you can relate. We're so ready for so much of what's happening to be over. Elections, wildfires, the year 2020, and certainly the pandemic. But it's not up to us. We don't get to decide when and how these crises get resolved. We do, however, choose how we're going to be in the midst of them. Sometimes we choose consciously, grounded in faith, and guided by divine wisdom. And sometimes we get dragged down by the inertia of worldly burdens, squandering our power to choose. Sometimes we Unity students try ignoring them. Denying reality is what that is. We cannot get rid of facts by pretending that they are not there, James Dillon Freeman, Unity Poet Laureate, wrote decades ago. But we can face facts and still know that good is there, whether we can see it at first or not. It has to be there because God is there. And we can seek in every situation to find and bring forth God's good in every situation. So in the chaos of remodeling, and even in the face of natural strife and global disaster, I recommend a practice of celebrating any sign of good emerging. I recommend a practice of celebrating any sign of good emerging. Celebrating in chaos, singing under fire, dancing through disaster? Foolishness, some would say. Poet Freeman agrees in an essay entitled The Pollyanna. But then he quickly adds, But it is out of such brave and wonderful human foolishness that human progress and endurance have come. Oh, yes, we endure. We know that God is there. We know that you are the face of God and I am the face of God. Yes, we can dance in the middle of fire. Yes, we can go forth. Yes, it's okay to not be okay. So just know that and know that we are always there. Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you, David. Thank you very much. And now it's time for us to celebrate our tithes and love offerings that we've received. And if you happen to have your tithe and love offering with you, take it in your hand and hold it. I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for our prosperity, for your prosperity, for the gifts that you give our ministry on an ongoing basis. If you're looking to donate, electronic or via mail is a great way to do that. Our address is on the screen right now, and our website and newsletter will accept your donations. Just click on the donate button. It will take donations higher than $10,000 if you'd like. Just go right ahead and put as many zeros on it as you have in the bank, and we'll be happy to receive it. And so our offering blessing is divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am grateful. And now, David, our peace song, please.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
In our prayer for protection, together, the light of God surrounds us. I am that light. The love of God enfolds us. I am that love. The power of God protects us. I am that power. and the presence of God watches over us.
us. I am that presence,
Wherever we are, God is.
and all is well.
Thank you, God, and thank you, Marlene. And so it is. Don't forget to unmute yourselves. Go forth. Have a great week, and know that you are the face of God. Amen.
Amen.